Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we will be presenting and soliciting public input on the Phase A-B study for the New Mexico 213, also known as War Road. This study is being conducted by Bohannon Houston for NMDOT in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration. For the virtual meeting protocol, please mute your microphone. Turn off your camera for increased bandwidth. During the presentation, type your comments in the Zoom chat box. This meeting is being recorded for future playback. A copy of the presentation is located on the project website in English and Spanish. This can be found at project.bhinc.com/NM213. At this time, I would like to play our presentation for you. Thank you.
This is the public involvement meeting for the New Mexico 213 Phase A-B study, New Mexico Department of Transportation Control Number E100-320. The agenda that we will cover tonight will include a study overview, including the alternatives analysis that was performed, followed by the preferred alternative. Then we will go through the next steps and information on providing input, and of course we will be answering questions this evening at the conclusion of the presentation. The New Mexico 213 intersection and alignment study is being completed for the New Mexico Department of Transportation in coordination with the Federal Highway Administration. The study process has followed the NMDOT's Location Study Procedures Guidebook for alignment and corridor studies, and includes both Phase A and Phase B components. New Mexico 213 is a north-south route in southern New Mexico, starting at the Texas border, connecting to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard on the Texas side, and it connects to the New Mountain crossing of New Mexico 404 and the village of Chaparral, New Mexico. The purpose for this project is to improve capacity, safety, and physical deficiencies for the at-grade intersection and roadway segment within the New Mexico 213 corridor. The alternatives evaluation criteria included the following: safety, traffic operations, right-of-way, environmental, drainage, utility impacts, adjacent property impacts, public input, implementation and phasing, constructability, and also construction costs. The second thing that we'll be going through was the alternatives analysis that was completed for the Phase A-B study. The existing conditions of the project consists of a 2-lane rural highway, 12-foot driving lanes, and paved shoulders that vary from 6 foot to 8 foot. The existing roadway is classified as a rural primary arterial. For a roadway of this classification, the State Access Management Manual recommends the minimum spacing between turnouts should be a minimum of half a mile. However, as you can see in the exhibit, where each purple dot represents a driveway turnout, that we have 5 turnouts to the east and 11 turnouts to the west in a 1.25 mile section between the State Line Drive and County Road A74. Through the study process, crash history was analyzed, showing an improvement in safety since the roundabout was installed. However, the data confirmed a higher than normal rate of crashes through the corridor. Findings of the existing corridor consisted of capacity and physical deficiencies. For capacity, the existing roadway and roundabout fail before the targeted design year due to delays and congestion. For safety, historic crash data shows higher than normal rates of crashes and significantly higher rates of severe crashes. The physical deficiencies consist of The existing corridor does not meet current design standards for roadway or drainage. This includes lack of sight distance and lack of adequate spacing between driveway turnouts. Through the study process, 6 alternatives were prepared, including the no-build alternative. Corridor alternative number 1 was a 4-lane divided. Corridor alternative number 2 is a 4-lane divided with frontage roads. Corridor alternative number 3 is a 4-lane divided with concrete wall barrier. Corridor alternative number 4 is a 4-lane concrete wall barrier divided highway with frontage roads. Corridor alternative number 5 is a 4-lane with 2-way left turn lane. Every study has a no-build alternative. The existing 2-lane roadway would remain in place under the no-build alternative. The existing 2-lane rural highway, which consists of 2 12-foot driving lanes and paved shoulders that vary from 6 foot to 8 foot. Corridor alternative number 1 would consist of a 4-lane divided highway. All 4 driving lanes would be 12 feet in width, and the inside shoulders would be 6 foot wide, and outside shoulders would be 10 foot wide. Corridor alternative number 2 would consist of a 4-lane divided highway with a bidirectional frontage road on the west and east side of New Mexico 213. All driving lanes would be 12 foot wide. Medians would provide the division between frontage road traffic and New Mexico 213 north and south. Corridor alternative number 3 would be 4-lane divided highway, but the division would be accomplished via concrete wall barrier. Each driving lane would be 12 foot wide. Inside shoulders near the barrier wall would be 6 foot wide, and outside shoulders would be 10 foot wide. Corridor alternative number 4 consists of a 4-lane section divided by concrete wall barrier with frontage roads on both the east and west side of New Mexico 213. The frontage roads would be bidirectional. Corridor alternative number 5 consists of a 4-lane section divided by a 14-foot wide 2-way left turn lane. All other driving lanes would be 12 foot wide with 10 foot wide outside shoulders. Interchange alternatives considered included the interchange alternative number 5, which was the braid, interchange alternative number 7, which was the grade separated split braid, and then interchange alternatives number 1 through 4 and 6 were eliminated through the Phase A initial evaluation of alternatives. Alternatives considered but not selected can be viewed on the project website. Interchange alternative number 5 consists of connecting New Mexico 213 with New Mexico 404 with a long radius curve. The existing roundabout would remain, and local traffic traveling eastbound to Chaparral can make the connection to the roundabout via braided ramp over the corridor section, depicted in the top right picture. Travelers wishing to come from the roundabout southbound on New Mexico 213 will also make the connection back to New Mexico 213 via braided ramp over the corridor section, depicted in the bottom right picture here. See both ramps with the bridge section. Interchange alternative number 7 is similar to interchange alternative number 5. The connection between New Mexico 404 and New Mexico 213 would still be accomplished via divided 4-lane, and local traffic and traffic that desired to go north on New Mexico 213 would utilize the existing roundabout, which would remain in place. However, instead of having both braided ramps going over, The eastbound and northbound ramp in the upper right-hand corner would go under the north to west connection. The southbound 213 traffic would still bridge over the 4-lane divided roadway section similar to the other alternative option in number 5. Next, we'll get into the preferred alternatives. The preferred alternatives can be broken into 3 parts. The first section, starting from the Texas border moving north, depicted here in yellow, is recommended corridor alternative number 4. From County Road A74 moving north, the roadway becomes more of a rural section. Through this section, the recommended alternative is corridor alternative number 3. And at the interchange of New Mexico 404 and New Mexico 213, interchange alternative number 5, the braided ramps, is the preferred alternative. Starting with the yellow section, from the state line to County Road A74, the preferred section is alternative number 4, which consists of a 4-lane concrete wall barrier divided roadway with bi-directional frontage roads on the east and west side of New Mexico 213. From County Road A74 to New Mexico 404 intersection, the preferred corridor typical section is alternative number 3, 4-lane with concrete wall barrier. Preferred interchange alternative number 5 was the preferred interchange alternative for the New Mexico 213-404 intersection.
Next steps, NMDOT location study process. The study is being conducted in accordance with the NMDOT location study procedure, which were developed to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act. The study process includes an initial evaluation of alternatives, a detailed evaluation of alternatives, and an environmental investigation. As you can see from the figure, we are in the middle stages of this project. We have just finished the evaluation of detailed evaluations and are presenting the findings of the study along with the recommendations for the interchange and corridor.
The study process is only a portion of the overall development project. As you can see from the diagram on the right, once the evaluation of alternatives is complete, we still need to complete the environmental documentation, preliminary design, final design before NMDOT can start any construction on this corridor. I will note that construction for this corridor or construction funding is yet to be identified for this project.
All environmental evaluations will be completed in compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act. Existing condition analyses completed to date have not identified any fatal flaws to the natural, social, or economic environment, with a summary of findings noted here. During Phase C, a comprehensive set of environmental evaluations to be focused on the preferred alternative will be completed, including field surveys for biological and cultural resources.
Public outreach. We want your input. You have an opportunity to provide feedback at tonight's public information meeting, and we will be meeting with agencies and project stakeholders to get their input as well. But it's important for you to provide this input because your input makes this corridor better.
Again, thank you. There are several ways that you can provide feedback and questions to tonight's presentation. The first is via project website. This can be found at project.bhinc.com/NM213 or via email at New Mexico, email is nm213 bhinc.com, or we can be reached via phone at 505-923-3340. If you prefer to mail your questions in, they will also be addressed. Please address those to the attention of NM213 Project Team, Bohannon Houston, Inc., 7500 Jefferson Street, Northeast, Albuquerque, NM 87109. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our project development engineer from the New Mexico Department of Transportation, Mark Salazar. He will introduce our team and who will be addressing your comments tonight.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Salazar. I'm the project development engineer with the New Mexico Department of Transportation out of Las Cruces. First of all, thank you for your attendance today and participation. I would like to introduce our District 1 staff that's joining us for this presentation. We have Harold Love, he's the Assistant District 1 Engineer. Andreas Lennon, he's the Technical Support D1 Engineer. We also have Josh Holguin, he's our Environmental Lead for District 1. Bohannon Houston is a prime consultant that was selected to perform the study and the preliminary design for this New Mexico 213 corridor. I would like to actually pass it to Roy Gibson with BHI to go to introduce the design consultant team for this project.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, Bohannon Houston is the lead design consultant leading the study. On the team, we also have Molson Corbin, Terracon, Oaken Consulting Solutions, and Cobb Finley and Associates. Questions. How to provide your questions tonight. If you have specific questions, please feel free to type those comments into the Zoom chat box. If you are on the phone, we ask that you have input to share or text via phone. Please dial or text 505-980-6065. And we'll be opening it up for questions.
You're also welcome to raise your hand if you'd just like to speak. You're welcome to do that as well.
Hi, this is Jennifer Wright with TxDOT in El Paso, and I'm so sorry, but I don't see the option of how to raise my hand on this Zoom or how to enter anything into this chat. And I don't know if others are having that problem as well, but I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, in that case, if you have a question and you have any of those issues, just go ahead and speak. It doesn't seem like we have too many people trying to talk at once. So please just unmute yourself and feel free to ask your question.
Hi, Denise. This is Eduardo Calvo, the Executive Director of the El Paso MPO. It's good to see you all. One question, will this presentation be shared, be available? Because I joined in a little late and I would love to see the presentation.
Yes, we will take the recording. We have the PowerPoints already on the project website, but we will take the recording from tonight's event and post that on the project website as well.
Excellent, great. And then just one brief comment that, we're as an MPO, we're so excited to see this project as well. As you know, it's part of the concept of the Borderland Expressway, the piece in Texas, and of course the piece in New Mexico that is moving forward a lot faster than the piece in the Texas side. But as an MPO, we see this as a great project. It's a project that will have a lot of impact for the region and benefit as a bypass or an alternative to I-10. But more locally, we also see the benefit that it's going to have to the communities of Chaparral and all that. So just I can't say enough of how excited we are to see this project moving to 404, and of course this piece on 213 and the interchange. So kudos to the New Mexico DOT folks and all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Roy, there is a question here in the chat from Amy. When construction takes place, will you be working with TxDOT to coordinate closures along with closures on Trans Mountain?
So through the construction process, we will be coordinating through the public information officer through NMDOT, who will be sending out regular information on closures and construction coordination. So we will make sure that the project information officer is coordinating with the TxDOT and El Paso MPO throughout the project to make sure that the traveling public is aware of all closures and upcoming construction.
She says, thanks, Roy. Any other questions or comments? Feel free to just speak up. It's a small enough group that we can handle that. We have another question in the chat from Kelly Mulvey. Will you also coordinate with Fort Bliss?
So yes, the project development team has been coordinating with Fort Bliss along with White Sands Missile Range. This corridor is also known as War Road, so we have been coordinating with BLM, the Fort Bliss, White Sands Missile Range, TxDOT El Paso MPO, and I'm sure there is other government agencies that we have also been working with.
And thank you for the positive comment, Jennifer. I'm glad you found the chat box. She says it looks like a great project and we're excited to have it underway. Thank you. We'll take a moment here to ask if there are any questions in Spanish. Carlos, if you have any Spanish questions on your side. Thank you.
Hi, it's me, Jennifer. I believe you guys are really looking for some feedback for your records. I just wanted to add that I think that the way that you've chosen from picked and choose from the different alternatives to come up with the best recommended preferred alternative, I think that that's really great. I like the way it works. It looks like you've chosen the best out of each one and cobbled them together for a really good project that's going to work really well with the Texas side of this project. So for posterity and for the record, that's my humble opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another question in the chat box from Kelly Mulvey. I have a question that was sent to her. Lots of military traffic movement to along this route to Doña Ana when dropping tracked vehicles. I'm not very good with military language there, Kelly. I apologize. For the first AR DIVRTY, fifth AR MOB of BCTs. Would like to be able to have a say, especially at the roundabout to 404, and are wondering if they plan to widen the lanes. The het is very large and the trailer has independent wheels turning, so it can be dangerous when you mix with civilian traffic.
So I'll take that question. Yes, the roundabout will remain in place during construction and for the remainder of the project under the recommended alternatives. Right now, the roundabout has a straight through pass that can be unlocked for heavy military traffic, and they will not have to negotiate the turns through the roundabout. Those can actually be lifted, and the roundabout was designed for through traffic and heavy military traffic to move straight through that roundabout and not have to negotiate the turnings. I hope that answers your question.
And Roy, if I could, this is Bert Thomas with Bohannon Houston, been helping Roy and Mark on this project. And I also wanted to say that the team vetted out different alternatives and took that large, oversized vehicle into consideration as we were developing these alternatives. In fact, some alternatives got dropped out because we were unable to move those larger vehicles under new bridge structures and in different areas. So we've taken the opportunity to try and vet that out and to make sure that the alternative that has been selected will allow the continuous flow of those vehicles through the roundabout and through the interchange area that we were discussing.
Another question here from Eduardo. Can you talk about the traffic projections used for this phase of the study, and are they consistent with what TxDOT is using for the Texas portion?
I'll answer that one since I did the traffic analysis. And thanks, Eduardo, and good to see you. I wish we would be able to see you in person, but it's at least good to see you on virtual. We did coordinate with El Paso MPO for the 20-year traffic projections to make sure that there was consistency for the entire corridor from Texas through New Mexico. And so the volumes that we use for our analysis are the volumes that were being used for the TxDOT portion as well. And we have been in coordination meetings with TxDOT El Paso staff as well. And I think that the connection that we're making at the line is going to be a smooth transition between the two projects. The portion on the TxDOT side is more of a access controlled facility. And that's one of the reasons that we are recommending a frontage road for the southern half of this New Mexico 213. Because of the access along that area, we want to make sure that the local traffic has the ability to get in and out of their properties without intermixing with the type of traffic that's being expected out of the 20-year MPO model. The northern section, the reason we aren't doing a frontage road in that area is there's really large landowners in that area. There's really not a bunch of driveways there today. And so we feel that the corridor would be able to function with just the 4-lane facility in the portion on the north end of New Mexico 213. However, if those larger property owners start developing those areas, there will be limited access following the state access management manual about where they could connect to this new New Mexico 213 roadway. And so there may be the potential for additional frontage roads in the future if that area starts developing. But we didn't see that or need that at this time based on the land use projections that we have.
Right. Thank you, Bert. And it's good to see you too there. Yeah, I mean, consistency, it really is so important. And I know that there's been a lot of coordination and all that, but part of the reason for my comment or my question was because, you know, you're hearing now more and more, and maybe not so much on the New Mexico side, but on the Texas side, there is a lot of, chatter about the design, the expansion of freeways, of limited access facilities. And one of the things that is being questioned is the way that we do traffic projections and all that. So I think, for a project like this, it's so important to be consistent and to be able to defend and, against the criticism of, whether it's the starting point using the MPO travel demand model, as you said, and then, tweaking it as we all do to make, to the specific corridors and all that. So So, I'm excited to hear the coordination and the fact that we're doing things so consistently.
Thank you. And we appreciate the cooperation and the help that you guys have given us. Thank you.
Thanks.
And we have another question in the chat box from Dora. When are you planning to start construction and how long will construction last?
That's probably one we should let Mark answer.
So at this time, the construction start date is unknown, to be determined until funding is found for this project. Once the design gets further along, and then funding is identified, then we'll have a good idea of how long we estimate construction to last. But at this point, it's a little too early to answer that question.
And as we wait a few more minutes for anybody else, I was going to ask Roy if you could put the project input slide back up so people can have a chance again to see opportunities to provide input following the meeting, the project website, the project email. That's all there for you. So even if you leave tonight and you have some more thoughts, feel free to share them. As Jennifer so kindly pointed out, we are here this evening to get input and we do want to hear from all of you. So. It's pretty quiet. Mark, I don't know if you have anything more you want to say before we close out for the evening.
Oh, they're very, very good questions that were asked. Thank you for those. But again, thanks everyone for your attendance, your input, your comments. It means a lot for us for this project, and this is a time, to ask those questions, to post them for us, and we could take them into consideration. But if there's no other questions or comments, thanks everyone. Were you going to stay on the line, Denise? Did you want to leave it on a little bit longer, or?
Feels like everyone is pretty much had their chance. So one last chance, you can jump in. Otherwise, I think that we're good for this evening. Roy, are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Again, we will be taking comments for the next several weeks, so please feel free to reach out through the project website via email or phone. And then again, if you want to mail those in, we will respond to those as well.
Thank you, everyone. We'll post the recording. And as I said, the presentation, the visuals and everything related to the presentation are already on the website in English and in Spanish.
Denise, this is Josh.
Yes, Josh?
Can you pull up the slide, reminding them that they have until October 20th for comments?
You just did that for us. Excellent. You have until October 20th for your comments. Good job, Josh. Thank you. Yes, we are trying to get them collected so that we can have the project moving forward. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.